side. Your love is on my side.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. My cat is like so excited that I'm home. He has just been meowing away. I've been away. My hair is a mess because I rode with the windows down and my hair is just like not doing it. But I just got back from my first drill day since being back home. And it was a day. I completely forgot just like how crazy UTA weekends are. Like, I sat there at the staff meeting this morning and I was like, man, I really need to remember the fact that UTA weekends are just the most hectic thing ever. I totally forgot. Like, I feel like at active duty chapels, like, they kind of just like take their time at things and they just kind of go at their own pace, but UTA weekends, it's like go non-stop. So we get there at like 06:30 and we go just like, there's no sitting, there's nothing, like it is just constant. And I just like totally forgot, and I had to like retell myself all day long, like, you have to keep a high pace, you have to keep a high pace. So yeah, but it was great getting to be back with everybody. Like, even people in the unit were asking me like, where have you been, we haven't seen you. So that's really cool because I'm not really attached to this unit that I'm doing UTAs with, since I'm only there for volunteer. So it's really, that was really cool, just that people like noticed that I was missing, and they were asking me how everything was going, and then the chaplains were like, tell me everything that happened while you were gone, you know, in Utah. So that was just really, it was really nice. But so it was busy and I'm exhausted. So I had finals this past week, and so I didn't get to sleep hardly ever. And then so I've been staying up till really late or waking up really early. Like yesterday I woke up at 3:30 a.m. after going to bed at like 11, and worked all day long, and then did homework, and actually went to a Braves game last night. And I was like doing my homework on my phone. It was like making a sermon, writing a sermon, and I was doing it on my phone. I felt kind of bad because I just ignored everybody, but I had to write the sermon. And then I got back home, and I went yesterday from 3:30 a.m. till midnight, and or like 1 a.m. and then I went to bed and had to be up at like 0500 this morning. So I am exhausted, and then just went all day today. So I'm probably just gonna like chill out at my house tonight. But so my little adventures of today, one of the biggest things that it included, because I did several things today, women's Bible study, unit engagements, planning for things, a couple meetings. It's all in one day. But one thing that was kind of like a big deal, or I don't know, like my big part of my day is every Saturday is wing day, and they have the best wings ever at the DFAC, and so I get so excited about these wings. That's all I ever talk about on Saturdays. And so I went to the to go eat the wings, and we're sitting down, and the wing chaplain had a guy shadowing him, and they start asking me these questions and just firing off all of these like theological questions. And I was sitting there and I was so excited about my wings, and while I was sitting there they started asking questions, and I like would lift up my wing and just like put it down, because I'm not gonna talk to like a major while I'm like stuffing my face.
2,000 years later.
Well, that was a lot longer than planned. My battery died on my camera, and I went to go charge it up, and I was like, well, I'll just get a little snack. And I fell completely asleep for like 12 hours. So I'm just happy that I put my alarm on for this morning before I fell asleep, because I would have just slept right through it. I needed those 12 hours because I could not sleep at all last week, because I was studying and doing homework. And so last night I was like, you know, I'm just gonna go to bed at 6 o'clock. So here we are. Started this video yesterday and we're ending it today, but it's Sunday now of drill, and whew, it is always just so tiring and exhausting doing drill on the weekends. And yesterday morning I like sat down, I was like, we were in staff meeting, and I probably already said this, but we were in staff meeting, I was like, man, I gotta like work really hard this weekend. I'm just not used to like being out at Hill. It was just, everything was, well, we could just maybe do it tomorrow. Like, we have time tomorrow to do it. Well, when you are a reservist, you don't have tomorrow. You have 2 days to do so many things. And there were times this weekend where I was like, breathe, don't freak out, don't freak out. Because at times I kind of got a little like my heart started being a little faster, like all the things that we had to do in such a short amount of time, because you just do not sit down as a chaplain on drill weekends. And so there was times I was like, just breathe, you're gonna be fine, you're gonna be okay. And I don't even have that much stuff I have to do. I kind of just like backfill when things need to get done, so that the other chaplains are too busy to do. But done today, and I wish I could go back to sleep, but I have to do, I think I have 2 exams I have to take, and a discussion board, because I did my other stuff earlier, so have to do that. But I kind of was thinking today, I wrote it down on my phone, which who knows where my phone's at right now, but just with like the Bible study we did yesterday and the sermon that was today, one thing I thought a lot about, and then also yesterday I spoke with a lot of trainees that are set to leave for BMT pretty soon, but well, not pretty soon. Some of them can actually wait a pretty long time, like a couple of months. And so what they do is they come and drill, and they wear like jeans and a green shirt, and they're just kind of waiting until their time to go to BMT. So I spoke with some of them, and it kind of felt like they hadn't really ever had an officer speak to them, because they just started firing away at questions about being an officer. And all these trainees are actually going to BMT, so they're going to be enlisted. And I kind of got to a point where I was like, I don't really know how to answer your questions. Like, that's more for a recruiter, because I just don't have a lot of information on how you get into one profession or another profession. I just know a lot about the chaplaincy profession. But one thing, I think that one of the chaplain assistants was like, what's one thing you're most nervous about BMT? And one guy said the running. And so one thing I pointed out to them was, you have so much time right now to prepare. Like, you are in a program right now where all your job is to do is to prepare. So use that time wisely. I was like, make small goals and just keep going towards them. I was like, if you get there and you don't do well, it's because you did not prepare yourself to do well. I was like, do that right now. I was like, it's such an amazing blessing that you have right now, because you have this program that you're in, and then you have like your daily life that you're living. Like, work on running, work on Air Force knowledge, work on the mindset that you will succeed. Work on that right now. Use that time to prepare right now. And one thing, it made me kind of like think back a little bit to my final last week was writing a sermon on Philippians 1:12 through 18. And so all semester long we had been working on building up this sermon, and it's pretty much like Paul is in jail, which by this time he's probably been in like his billionth time in jail, so he's probably really used to it. But he's in jail, and he's talking about how he's in chains, but it doesn't matter because he's in chains for Christ. Like, he's in chains because he was preaching Christ, and that's all that matters. And he's encouraging the church of Philippi to continue on preaching no matter their fear of being persecuted or them also being in chains. And one thing one of the points that I had in my sermon that I kind of expanded on was prepare for persecution. Like, prepare for the time that it's going to be hard, because it is going to be hard. Like, sometimes it is just going to be like super difficult. And my example, like, we had to write like an illustration in our sermon that applying it back to our lives. And my illustration was being in the Air Force. There have been almost all the time, and I know I talk about this before, but there's been a lot of times in this whole journey of mine to where it has just been like a huge wall just like placed in front of me, and I'm like, what the heck, like, you know, I think I'm supposed to do this, and I'm going at it, and here are all these walls in front of me, and that wall was just meant for me to just climb over and get on the other side, and that was the only point of that wall. It wasn't meant for it to stop me. There's a certain level to where it was only so high so I could get up over it. Like, you have to prepare for the times when it's going to be hard, because it is going to be hard, especially the times when God has called you to do something, and not all the time the world is going to want you to do it. Not for sure, the devil is not going to want you to do it, and if you prepare for those moments now, and you prepare through prayer and scripture and seeking God after it, your confidence in those times is just going to be so phenomenal. And you're going to look back and you're going to look at this and you're going to be like, wait a second, I just went through this, this, and this, and I didn't even think it was hard. But looking back on it, wow, that was pretty difficult. Or you're going to look at a situation and be like, you know, this is supposed to be a hard situation, but God has prepared me, and I know that He's prepared me because I've spent time praying about this. And that's one big thing that I've learned over time, like what prayers, there's so many good things about prayer, but one huge thing about prayer is it's good for preparation. It's good for just, you know, if you know something's coming up, or if you don't even know what's coming up, prepare by praying. Pray for courage. Pray for strength. Pray for still obedience in God. Pray that you still can see Him. Pray that your personality and your attitude doesn't change, but that it just is so steadfast, and you just stay an anchor in that storm. Just pray for those things. And so I liked how that all kind of like came together for me this weekend. Just thinking about it, and I was just like, wow, this really goes along really well with the kind of the sermon that I had put together. And it just made me kind of think to this weekend of a drill where I was like, whoa, like there's all these things that I forgot about, or I just like haven't done in a month, or I have done it on an active duty side for a while and having to remember how to do it on a reserve side for a while. But just knowing that because I prayed for these things, and the Lord has done things to help me prepare, I can't be nervous in those times. I can't be stressed out when those times come up, but I just have to trust, because prayer creates confidence and trust and confidence build off each other, so that in the moment you're not having like a meltdown. So anyways, I thought about it today, and I was like, oh, I want to talk about that on my channel. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm gonna go do all of my homework now, and then hopefully at some point go to bed, because I have to be back at work at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So thanks again for coming by my channel, and I, as always, am praying for y'all. And I got some updates this week from some of y'all of just like the things that y'all are going through, the process that you're in with applying with the military or the Air Force, any branch, and I'm really excited about that. And I'm also super excited because hopefully, I think next drill weekend, I have one of y'all are gonna come and come and tour the base with me. So I'm super excited about that. If y'all again have any questions or anything, comment below or find me on Instagram. Send me updates. It is lovely to know how to pray for you. Other than that, I'm just like, God, just watch out after the people on the YouTube channel that watch. And if y'all could also be praying for me in return. I think prayer is one of the most powerful things that we have the ability to do as human beings, but as spiritual beings also. So go and do fabulous things with your week and with your life, and pray for the military. Pray for me. I'll pray for you. And I pray for your journey, and as we all discern God's calling on our life. So have a great week and weekend, because it's still the weekend. So.